Hello everyone, today I'm gonna teach you about beautifulSoup library. It's a Python library that enables us to pull data from HTML pages, something like this. For example, you have Amazon and you have an HTML page here for a specific product. So I typed here the name of the product. We can see that the query corresponds to the name of my product. And then, for example, I want to pull some data. For example, I want to pull the price, maybe I want to pull the URLs or stuff like that. So what we want to do, we want to grab the HTML, understand it, parse it to find these values and store them in a file somewhere. All right, so to begin, today we are going to use Google Collaboratory. So Google Colab is like a Jupyter notebook in the cloud. We have already all the environment installed. We don't have to worry about that. So how do you open a Colab? You go to your Google Drive, you click New, Plus, and you will find it here. Okay, so my Colab is already open right here. So you will have an interface like this with in each code block you will execute a command. We have a machine of 12 gigs of RAM and 100 gigs of disk that we can use, so that's pretty cool. To access the local file system, we have just to type a semicolon and followed by the instruction. So here, for example, I installed beautifulSoup. So the library we are going to use, beautifulSoup 4. It was already included in the machine they gave me. For example, just a quick note on how Colab works. You just, for example, want to see the local files, you type ls, just like on Mac on Linux. Here, for example, I have a test file. I can cd into stuff and to see what I got. Okay, so now we're going to import beautifulSoup library with a request library to make the HTML calls. If you don't know how to use the request library, I invite you to see my previous video where I explain how we use it. So I execute this command. So now I want to grab the URL of this Amazon link. Just a quick note, when you go to Amazon, type, for example, for a product, if I say microphone, you will have a strange, weird looking URL. I think it's depending on the market you are looking for and stuff. So you can just grab the parameter relating to your product and you will have the same thing, and it will be cleaner way to access the URL. Okay, so I did the same thing here. So I registered my URL, and then we will make the request, parse it, and then we will see how to retrieve the data. So one quick problem I ran through is that if you ran the request method without headers, for example, if I run it here is with headers. If I run it without headers, just the URL, actually Amazon will give us bad response, because Amazon detects that we are like not humans. It's not a human behavior. So what they tell you, if you want to access the data via API, you have to call them. You have to call them and register for the service. But what we can do is we can simulate the behavior of a user, of a human user. So we have to add the headers to our request. So the HTTP headers are elements that metadata that we send with the HTTP, so that server side will know and communicate with the client side. So how did I get all this? What you want to do, you want to go to your web page, click inspect. Okay, then go to networks or network, then just refresh, for example, and you will see all the files the Amazon servers they sent us. I click on some link, and then I would go to this section right here. Look, we have the headers, and we can inspect to see the request headers. Pay attention, because we have two kinds. We have the response headers, so the response we got from the servers of Amazon, and we have the request headers, so the parameters we sent to the servers of Amazon. So our request headers, you can just copy these parameters right here without the 2 points here. Just copy them in your code and format them to form a dictionary. So this is a dictionary, so I formatted them with the columns and with the text here. And then, for example, I can access any key of my dictionary. I can access cookie origin, for example. Alright, so now we have a dictionary of headers well formatted, and what we can do now is send these headers with the request we sent. So we execute this command, and we would get a response with a status code of 200. So let's inspect the text of our response. So we have the doc type, HTML, something like that. Okay, it seems like we have all the HTML of this page. Maybe we can check by looking for this value here. So if we have this value in the text, it means that we have the HTML, just to be sure. So I can just type if 299 in text, then print. Okay. Oh well, so it seems that we have our value here in the response text. Alright, now that we have all this blob of text, what we want to do is we want to parse it so we can retrieve the data. So there's two ways. So without the library we are using beautifulSoup, we can maybe use some pretty complicated regular expressions to retrieve the data, or we can use beautifulSoup. It's a library that made for this. So we will explore a little bit the website of beautifulSoup. So it's a library that enables us to pull data from HTML. Alright, if you go to the quick start, here they have HTML document. So just like the document we retrieved with the request response, then they import beautifulSoup, and they pass the HTML document to the beautifulSoup method with the argument HTML parser. So this parser will parse the HTML. So what is parsing? It will build a tree of the HTML. So it will enable us to find elements directly by looking, for example, at tags, at HTML tags, or at classes, or anything we like. So now we would have something like this. We would have an HTML parsed. Alright, so we will apply the same thing here. So let's inspect our soup. So let's call it a soup. Soup is the HTML parsed, and if we inspect it, we will have a huge block of HTML representing the code source of the page. So it seems that we have everything. Now what we want to do is we want to retrieve, for example, the prices of each of each element right here, of each product. Okay, so what I can do, I want to see what tags are associated with this price. So I will inspect with Chrome, and here we can see that this span have a class that is named a price a whole. Okay, so basically if we go to this price, we will have the same class. So we will check that, and it seems to be the case. So what we want to do, we want to copy this class name, and we want to go to use our soup and to use a method called find all. We would tell beautifulSoup to find us all the classes that have the name a price whole. To note here that the soup library, soup object have different methods, so we can check here in the website. All these are methods to use to look into the text. Personally, the most I use is the find all method, or the find. Find all would find us all the elements containing some specified argument. For example, here we can grab the soup, the title, and we will find all the strings in the title. For us, we can use the method find all right here. Okay, so here we see the examples. We want to grab the tag title, so we will look for that in their example. For example, we want to grab the paragraph tag containing the title class, so we will end up with this. Here, for example, we will look for all the A tags in our HTML. We can look for values by ID. Okay, here we have the ID link too. We can look for it, and for us, it's we will use the name, the class name, to find our object. All right. You can, for example, when you have another use case, you can just browse the documentation here and see if there's another method that you want to use. It's very easy and straightforward. So you can use the find the next sibling, find the parent, search with a string. There's a bunch of methods, but mainly in my experience, I use find and find all. Now we want to find all the elements containing this class. So I will run this command, and well, it seems to be working. We have ended up with the list of all the products, that have in this class. So a quick checkup. We've already seen this price, this one, but what are these ones? So $14.99. It was about $14.99. What we can do is we want to inspect this the page source, and we will look for this value. Doesn't seem to find this value. So what we want to do is we want to filter some values that we don't need. I think it's grabbing some values from this data. So now we have a list. We can choose to have the elements starting from 0, 1, 2 from this third element, and we would have all our prices. And now this is a list, so if I want to grab the first element, it would be like this. All right, so now I am interested only by this price, by this value. I don't need the span and the whole thing. So what I want to do, we can grab the price like this. When you have a find all method, so this is a span tag, and this has a method called text, and it will ignore all the tags, all the HTML tags, and just grab the text within this tag. So if I'm if I put this as text, okay, we have our value. And now we want to loop through all this list. We want to create a for loop for item in this. Let's call it items. All right. So for item in items, what we want to do is we want to grab the item text, maybe print this to see what we have. All right, we have all the prices related to our products. Now I want to store them in a list, prices equals, and then I want to append every price. All right, and maybe transform them to floats, so we can maybe apply some functions later, some max, min, average or something. All right, could not convert to float, so I think the comma is a problem. So what we want to do, we want to replace the comma with nothing, and then we would divide by 100 because it will be we will have the 2 zeros. So I apply this. Okay, it seems to be working. I will check my prices. All right, now we have the prices as floats. Now maybe I want to calculate the average of the prices. I need to find the max method, max or minimum method, but you can just use like pandas or yeah, it works like this. So this is the max price, this is the minimum price. Yeah, so median maybe. No, it's not defined. Well, you get it. You can apply any data on your function on your list right here. You can grab the URL of the item and have it in a list. And for example, you would have a machine in the cloud running continuously checking the prices, and as soon as you have a price drop, for example, you would have your minimum here, like the value you are targeting. So you will send yourself an email, and then you can maybe go directly to Amazon to buy the product. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see the whole application, so the machine in the cloud, maybe in Google Cloud or in AWS. We can set up a machine, check the prices continuously, and then send us an email. So if you find this interesting, comment you are interested, and we will make a video about this. So thank you for watching till the end, and see you next time. Bye bye.